building bridges or even building relationships, whichever way you choose to look at it. So let's use the bridge as a good example. What entails to build a bridge? First you have to identify where the bridge has to be built. You have to look for the right contractors, certified and qualified for the job. You have to ensure you have all the right resources, every equipment. Then you have to get the right team, and everything has to add up. Then you have to entrust that the contractors whom you've given that assignment will get the job done. And sometimes you always have to look at the previous projects they've done. And once everything is done, everything has been paid off and everything, you entrust them to get the job done. But it takes time. It's not like you build a bridge overnight. It takes time. Something that is quality takes time to have everything to work right. But what happens when a bridge collapses? First, you have to go back and look at who was the previous contractor. Look at also their previous records, if there are any projects they did that failed. You have to look at the type of materials that were used in building this particular bridge that broke down. And then now you have to look at, okay, so now this has happened. What types of legal fines that will be imposed on them? And depending on the magnitude of that bridge, for example, let's say in the worst case scenario, someone lost their life in the process of that bridge going down. So you have more legal suits against them. So what happens is whoever that contractor is, their name is placed out there. And so no one else will want to work with that person. So just by that, whoever was the contractor loses. So that means if the contractor did not do their due diligence, maybe the contractor was good, but let's say they were not keen to look at the types of materials they received. They received low quality materials. Because they had so many other jobs, they just gave a team. They overlooked, and eventually that overlooking has costed them a great deal. Or on the other hand, they were just ignorant. They just wanted the money and would get low quality products, and boom, bridge is down, name is tarnished, and major lawsuits. And that's how it is when you're dealing with building relationships. You see, you can have all the money in the world. You can have whatever position or title or wherever you think you are. But if you don't know how to build lasting good relationships and build good bridges around you, at the end of the day, that money you have will have no value. Because how much can money help you? Yes, you'll be able to get things that you want and things that you needed. You'll get this, you get it, and then what? No matter how much you compound, if you don't have good relationships, good friendships, good bonds out there, it won't help you. If you're looking at someone, let's say you have two people, a total stranger, and one person, even if you've known them, let's say within a day or two, but they both ask you for assistance on something, you'll easily move to the one you've gotten a bit familiar with. And it may not be they did something major. Maybe it is their time, their presence, maybe it was a finance, something very small, but had a very profound effect on your life. You will entrust this one over the total stranger, because the total stranger is still someone new and you're trying to develop to get to know them. So it's not going to be like you just wake up and say, I'm giving you this product, or I'm going to offer this service to you, just like that out of the blues. That's why for someone who's a stranger, even if it's within a business setup, they can be a transactional or leave something behind as collateral. But someone you built a relationship with, you don't need collateral, and you might overlook the transactional side of it and say, hey, whatever, I'll just sort it out, and even offer pro bono. And the saddest and most interesting part is how people burn bridges. You get to meet people, you get to know people, and then you get to want what you wanted or what you needed. And then you forget the people who helped you build you to where you are. And they're normally the very simple people who helped you. It could be a parent, it could be a friend, it could be a relative, it could be a total stranger, it could be a partner, whoever it is. And then now you're popular. Now you have more influence. Now you have more cameras. Now you have more followings. Now you have this. Now you have that. And you forget the people who helped to build you up. The person who told you, hey, your shirt or your dress looks like this. Could you try like just adjust it like this? Or there's something on your hairs. Very simple comments. But nobody gets to know their stories like an entertainer. An entertainer, them standing there are many people who've done the background to ensure that that particular star or influencer stands there. If it's within the visual side of things, you have not only the producer, you have the makeup artist, you have the person who's cleaning the whole area, you have the guard, you have the security, you have so many, the one who's doing the cloth line, all that. Each one of them played a major role for you to have that influencer or that movie star that you have in front of you. Go to music industry, you'll have the producer, you have you have every other person, the friends, the partner, someone. There's so many people who have played a key role. The strength of a politician is not only in the people around, are the people even around that, their close family, their close friends, or someone who's one of the who campaigned, who threw money into his work because they saw something, a vision. And sometimes some of the greatest politicians, they never wanted to be politicians. Someone saw they had potential, picked them from the crowd and told them, you have potential in ABC. And like, I want nothing, because every time I hear politics, I hear lies. But someone threw them and said, nope, I'm investing in you. And before they knew, became the greatest, some of the greatest lawyers, some of the greatest this and that, and whatever it may be. Someone believed in someone. Someone looked at that person and saw, you have potential. But a fool is the one who burns the bridges. Where now, because you have a new team, new people, caressing your ego, telling you, nah, you can ban those, no, you don't need them, no this, no that, you fall. Sometimes it's like how music artists are entertainment, just within entertainment, how they get duped in their contract. So you had an agent whom you started all with, or someone with a legal background who started all well. And then as you grow, whatever label you're under or production you're under, that you don't need that person. You have everything you need on this end. So you burn the bridges with the person who helped you, because they said, no, they just want to steal from you, yada, yada, yada. So you burn the bridges with the people who helped you there. And eventually now you are all this big whatever. But you see, you never see the fine print. They show you the money. They show you what you want. And it's going to be sad for you if you really are not a person who's contented in life. So anyway, you sign off whatever contract, whatever deal it is, only for you to realize it has your name tagged and all that. And now when you want to get out of the deal, you can't even use your own name to sell yourself out there. You have to like create a new name. And depending on the extent of that contract, you're cooked for life. And then now remember that lawyer, remember that friend, remember that person who told you, I believe in you, who you doubted. They already moved on. They're like, hey, you're a star, you're an influencer, you stick to your lane, I stick to my lane. You showed me your true colors. Sometimes it's very interesting how people are. I always say, give someone what they want. Not just what they need. Let's give them what they want. You see, what they need is okay. It really doesn't matter. But give them what they want. Someone will say they want a phone. You don't need to buy a new phone. Just give them your phone and get a new one. Or if you have a backup, and watch them. And 3/4 of the times you'll realize when you give people what they want, they'll show you their true colors. They're too busy. They do that. They do this. They do this. They will show you you have no worth. They will show you you don't know anything. You take them to this new venue, and for you it's like a common place, but for them it's a new place. Now they've seen everything. And when someone does that, you might want to tick off your checklist of people you want to interact with. Because eventually they go down that rabbit hole and they say, no, you're not rich enough, you're not in my clique, you're not in my that, you're not, just a few lingos here and there, and the only thing they run the world. So give someone what they want and sit back and relax. Some of the relationships, even as you're dating, you don't need to go for. Just give them what they want. and watch. And sadly, you will realize you have no value to these people. You're only as good as that moment. And that's why we say sometimes, just because you don't have, doesn't mean when you get what you're looking for, you'll be the same person. Some people have gotten what they wanted deep in their heart. They didn't have the opportunities. And when they wanted, they messed up big time. They messed up big time. And God can't give you something he knows you can't handle. God won't give you a nation to run. He'll give you a flock. He'll give you livestock. If you've never dealt with a goat and a sheep and a cow, all combined, trust me, you've never lost it. Because no matter how much you have your stuff, and you're directing them to one direction, with sheep you just need to find one leader and they'll all follow. But with the goats, you've never gone crazy. You can have just 3 goats among 5 sheep and 1 cow, 2 cows. And I can tell you, 1 goat will make you go crazy, because one will be running all the way to the places those, if you are within an area jurisdictions, it will grow over the other side. And then you're thinking, and you see with the goats, no matter how much you put them in an enclosure, they'll always find a way out. Or sometimes among the cows, the calves, they jump off. Sometimes among the sheep, they just look at left, look at right, then all of a sudden they ram you down. If you can manage to handle the livestock, because they're all different characters and then they all work differently, if you're given some major tasks, you'll survive. Why do we think, and sometimes I never thought about it like that, but now I'm thinking about it. Moses was given 40 years, exclusive of the 40 years he was. So let's leave the first 40 years when he was a prince. We are talking about the 40 years when he was working under Laban. Not Laban, sorry. When he was working under Jethro. 40 years. The next 40 years was given now to deal with the Israelites and all things. He was already well equipped. Now let's go to King David. King David, who was it and what was he dealing with at the time? Also livestock, fighting and everything. He mastered how to deal with the wolves, how to deal with them. Elisha, what was he doing at the time? There's something unique about how we live. God will not give you something greater. He has to give you something small. You see, when Lot was able to amass a lot of wealth, it got to his head. And instead of being humble enough on how to live with his uncle, he smote his breast and be like, I don't need you. Then they get attacked at Sodom and Gomorrah. Then he's rescued by his same uncle. And then he, instead of being humble enough, and by that time, obviously, he still had regained what he had lost. But instead of that being a moment of actualization, like, okay, let me come to reality. I did mess. Let me get it right. No, he didn't. Eventually, he lost everything. And that's why always give someone a benefit of a doubt. People will surprise you. People will very much surprise you. And you don't know anyone. You really don't know anyone. That's why it's important to pray. Why do we pray? Because honestly, we cannot see the spiritual without the grace and mercies of God. Because He's the one who created us. He knows our hearts, our minds, our spirit. He knows us. How many people have been married? And the day they were divorced, they're still, decades later, they're still in shock. And you ask them, how are you divorced? They're like, I still don't know. And not like they cheated or did anything major. That person just had a moment. They just had a moment. Or a lady giving all the best advices about men and everything. And then this guy comes and swoops you over and you're thinking they'll support you. Or not just advices in men. I mean, like just generally, you just give advices on something, good content. You have good content, you are good in your career, and you meet this individual and you're thinking, you met your prince or your king. But all he just wanted is just someone who's high level, who's doing that so that he can control. That's all. And he'll show you the first 2 years. You'll see the warning signs. You notice a few red flags and say, nah, it's just a man just being possessive. Nah, he's just protecting his girl. That dear. Oh, don't do this. Oh, don't do that. No, I don't like how you dress. Oh, I don't like that. La 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 la. Before you know it, this bright lady who was out there, she's getting darker. She's doubting herself. Bit by bit. By the time you come to meet her, she's not the same. And the same applies to men. You started off well and everything, and there's this lady who's like there, and you're thinking, I finally met someone. Only for time, because they will show you, but you will see the red flags. Someone will there are people will just tell you, there's something off about this person. I don't know what it is, but just keep an eye on it. And because you are swooped, they have touched their heart, they have said all their right words, they have taken away your loneliness, you ignore the red flags. And then they make sure you even have a child, you have a family and everything. And then when they are very sure they've put you in your corner, the people who are very important to your life, they put an X. Before you realize it, you are the people who you're close to, they can't reach out to because you never knew what they were doing in communication. They were done through communication. The next thing you realize, then your environment looks at you differently. Before you realize what's going on, you've been damaged all around, and this person saying, I own you. And you're thinking, how did we turn to property? You don't know mankind. You've raised your child well, taken them through the best schools. You've done everything. And then a moment comes when you're in your lowest moments and your child says, I don't need you. Or you're still not in your lowest moments, but they meet someone high and they're like, I don't need ABCD from you. I got where I wanted. Now you can understand the prodigal father, not the prodigal son to the father. The father's thinking, how did we get here? But that's how life is. You really don't know the other person. And there are people who, I'm sorry to say, but are certified bridge breakers. Why? Because they get what they wanted. It's only they didn't get the opportunity. They never got the opportunity. If you trust them, if they come to your home, they'll take away the charger. They take this, they take that, they take this. You're thinking, what's up with this person? But that's who they are. So imagine if they had more power. So you need to be very careful and discern, because honestly, you don't know the person next to you. Whether it's your partner, whether it's your child, whether it's your neighbor, whether it's your boss, you really don't know. So be very careful and discern. To build bridges is very important because you don't know who's going to help you. You could be dealing with someone in the virtual era. So whether it's on your phone, the digital era, whether on your phone or whether it's through social or anything, there are people you will meet and you will build very deep and strong bonds. Maintain them. Because you really don't know when that hour will come or that need has come, and that person will be the person they will need. You really never know if you're going to have your Joseph story with the wine bearer, chief wine. Yeah, that one. I'm forgetting which one was which. However, when that time for the chief wine bearer, that one, comes and is giving a good report before the Pharaoh of that time and says, there's that lady, there's that gentleman who did ABCD, who can do this. Or like a Daniel situation where the wife of Belshazzar is like, I know a man called Daniel. So you really don't know when your story will come, when your report will be given. And you see, sometimes people wonder why they don't move up in whatever they're doing. It's because there are people who are busy giving bad reports. How many times have you met someone who you interact, you've met them maybe once or twice, and then after interaction they say, you know what, it's interesting, the stories I heard about you and the person I'm seeing are two different people. And they're like, what are you talking about? They said you did ABCDFG. Like, huh? I'm like, I did this, and this person did ABCD. And mind you, the person who's destroying your bridge are people you've actually helped. There are people you've sacrificed so much to build them up. But now, they have decided, you're not supposed to succeed. So they go behind your back and try and identify every potential person who can build you up, and they burn those bridges down. Now, when these people come and realize you are clueless, Because people are not dumb for long. People always realize, why are you not like understanding what's going on? Then they'll go back to this person who was creating the chaos, and then they'll deal with them properly. Because that's where we are in life. It's the digital era. People can deepfake you, AI deepfaking. People can create stories, pay up a blogger. Blogger. And that's the problem. Tabloids, what do tabloids do? Tabloids will just create a story, a scenario that never existed, and it's juicy, and people would run into it. And then when people start saying, but that's a lie, when people now start getting to validate, they realize, oh crap, what did they do? Or some of these men and women who were told were important people, they changed the world. When you start doing your due diligence, you realize, wait a minute. These people were never really building bridges for us. They just gave us a face, but we never got to know who was behind this other side. Because in the world that we live in, we have too many proxy agents. And a proxy agent doesn't have to be, like the gun and everything. It's just any individual who will be able to play a role for another team to influence something that will work for them. And the thing is, you really don't know what people are up to these days. I can give you a story, and that story isn't there. I can tell you this, and that story doesn't exist. Now it's up to you to do your due diligence and be able to validate and confirm. So when someone comes and says, I am a politician, I did ABCD, if they have been a politician, it's very vital to do your own due diligence and confirm from the moment they got to politics, what was their track record? Did they kill people? What have they done? What kind of things have they done? If they are new to be politicians, you need to look at, okay, the companies they worked for, what was the track record? Because if that thing they were doing was wrong, when they get into power, they'll just be worse. So if they have a track record, like a politician, of doing evil, hurting, executing, and everything, when they get into power, they will finish off millions, and they won't care. They will sell off your nation. They won't care. So power, when they get power, they just magnify who they were previously. So it's important if someone says they're a servant of God, they profess, I'm very cautious here, they profess to be a servant of God or a minister of God. It's vital to do your due diligence and ask around and figure out if they're in this country, figure out through someone from that country, is this person who they say, who they really, what's really their story? Because in this digital era, we have the shorts, right? We have these YouTube shorts, TikTok shorts, and all these shorts, right? We only get the 6 minutes of positive words, right? But we never get the full context of the content which they were giving. And sometimes we misinterpret the short video, because with good editing skills, you can always edit out something and make it sound like and feel like, but it's not. You just need to be able to understand, to listen to a full clip and pick and choose carefully and interrelate them, and you'll have like a message in 6 minutes, a minute. In 6 minutes, you'll be able to have something amazing. Everybody's touched, everybody's saying yes. For example, someone can say, we have done it. And everybody say, yes, we have done it. But no one is asking, what have we done again? No one is asking that. But the crowd is saying, we have done it, because emotions have gone up. Be very careful. There are people very good in building a persona that doesn't exist. So, do your due diligence and discern. Build bridges because of one thing. A bridge is built on trust. A bridge is built on respect. You build bridges because of your commitment. If you don't have any of those things and many others, it's useless. If you're not honest in your dealings, if you're not faithful in your work, if you're not trustworthy in your dealings, just a fraud, just a scam. It's like how scammers are able to scam you. What does a scammer do to scam you? They tell you, be careful of scammers. And then they scam you. How does a thief pickpocket sometimes steal from you? They tell you, this place, they are thieves. Keep your phone well. And so what you end up doing, you keep your phone, you move your phone from the original safe spot to a vulnerable spot because they told you this place they steal from that end. And so what you do for the thief or the pickpocket, now you put it at their point where they can be able to steal from. Or like others, I remember one, I almost lost my phone, is they'll remove like a big gazette or newspaper. And they're very much reading, well dressed. So what they end up doing is, as they're, and both hands you can see, but what you not notice is some, I don't know how they do it, one hand is moving on the other end. So they'll notice which end. So as you're picking your phone, they've noticed. So they will like try to hit you like almost like accidentally, but they're very busy, but the other moving. I almost lost a phone to that style. I ended up catching the person, but I took my phone and moved on in my life. So you have to be very careful because a scammer always tells you, be careful, they are scammers, and then they scam you. A pickpocket will always tell you, they are thieves. This phone, this camera will be stolen, and you move it from your point of safety, and then you give them to your point of vulnerability. And then now you're cooked. So build bridges, because one, build bridges determine how far you go. Do not underestimate. How do people get exposed? Because a bridge was burnt and someone took advantage of someone, and that came at a price, and they went falling down. Do not underestimate the power of building bridges. Build bridges, maintain, and even when you cut off from people, do it respectfully. And even let's say at the time it was bad, look for an opportune time, a month, 2, 3, 4, 6 months, end well and move on with your life. You'll be very surprised. So build bridges, stop burning bridges.